Well, history, well, it helps to remain empathic because you see how they did before, so you can relativate the situation today. It all becomes more, uh, well, relaxed, and there is more freedom, there is more understanding, more tolerance. Because yeah, if you study the past, you you will see it's not exactly the same like today. So understanding persons from the past can inspire you to overcome all the differences people have today. And because empathy and good working in human relations are very important in life. Well, some worry about the origin of the universe, but I worry about the quality of um, interaction with other humans in all kinds of forms. It can be family, it can be institutions, it can be universities, it can be a business environment, um, a society, culture, movies, ideas, music, you name it. It's all part of a bigger picture in which, well, humans interact. So, and yeah, what I'm thinking now is they always teach about the Roman Empire and the army, but I think um, convincing people of a message of peacefully living together is what drives empires. In a company too, they want a company spirit, and so it's not the Roman army that was important. The Romans had the idea of law. They invented it. And well, the Greeks, they had philosophy, the love for wisdom. They always talked about that world of perfection and ideas. You see it represented in the art. But it comes from the Persians, Zoroastrism. And it, it was the idea that something good and perfect will make everything fair, good, everything we like, peace on earth, and it's thanks to an Almighty. That was a concept of the universe invented by, well, that Persian philosophy of Zoroastrism with Ahura Mazda and Zarathustra. Um, the writings have been almost entirely lost. A few references can be found in some ancient Indian text, northern India. But so, when you look at it that way, um, the Persians invented this and they spread it out. The Hebrew took it over. They became Jews and they had monotheism 500 before Christ. The Greeks, they studied it, Plato, Aristotle. They teach it to Alexander the Great. He conquered the Persian Empire again. But the idea was we are a peaceful empire, an empire of people living in peace together. In the Bronze Age, probably military might was very important because, yeah, suddenly they had bronze, they could make weapons, they do trade, maybe some kind of Mad Max era at that time, 3000 before Christ. But then we start to to be kind to each other again because yeah, we must have done it before because We speak to each other, we talk, we communicate, and we do feel empathy, a lot of empathy, and we form teams and we work together. We build up a culture, and well, we have done so thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of years to express with language and to talk, to listen. And listening is also empathy, wanting to understand every detail. And so, but then we had the Bronze Age, and then suddenly we have that Zoroastrianism. And suddenly people said, this is it. Now we're going to live in peace together. Everybody's going to be happy. But then, yeah, the Greeks conquered it and they introduced Hellenism. Everybody was happy with it. And then came the Romans, and well, they gave law. So that was a sign of hope. That finally, with law, they had laws like if you do something bad to a person, he must have damage. It must be your fault. You must be at fault. He must have damage. There must be a link between your fault and his damage, and then you must repair the damage. That's Aquilian liability. It's very old Roman concept, and well, that gave people hope. It was better than the philosophy of Aristotle of some ideal almighty. No, it was the Roman Empire who guaranteed you repair of damages. And yeah, in the beginning, well, Roman law worked very well, but then, of course, things started to become corrupted and taxes, and they didn't like the emperor anymore. In the East, they made it with Quran. They made the laws themselves, Islamic law, no more empire. And that was going to make everybody happy. Yeah, and in the West, we had the Bible. That was going to make everybody happy also. But the problem in the West was somewhere went terribly wrong, because they started to study. Well, first there was abuse a little bit in their opinion. They had to pay too much, and then they didn't want all these cathedrals anymore. Just the same protest as in the East hundreds of years before with the Almighty and the Koran. But in the West, that protest was suppressed. In the East, it was never suppressed. The Roman Empire was not powerful enough to suppress the rise of Islam. No, it never suppressed it. But in France and Spain, those kings and the Pope in Rome, in the French, they were powerful enough, the Italians, to suppress protest. So that continued for some time, that Catholic, and they had education and they had Jesuits, and yeah, they continued and with the power of the state, but at the same time we had the Protestants, and they believed in an almighty. But then we had the rise of socialism, and that was really because of a material world, and that was because there was that period of natural science and discovery of evolution, discovery of nature, and then yeah, they didn't want that concept anymore. And once we had socialism, something even worse came. There was only a material world, and some part of the population which had less material property suddenly wanted the same part as everybody, and they started to fight for it, to give everybody his right share. So yeah, that also gave a huge impact, and that's where we are now. I described 5 chapters. Infinity, it's the first one. um, Heavenly is the second one, it's the Bible. And then protest, yeah, because yeah, there was some. And then nature and evolution, and then prosperity, affluent society. That dream of socialism that the Um, well, I saw um, uh, a descendant of a British miner on a mining family, mine owner family on television, but who had a good reputation of doing the right thing for the miners. And in, well, 150 years ago, and they went to a museum of British coal miners, and they had a flag, and it said socialism leads to prosperity. So yeah, that's really an important thing in Western society in the last 150 to 100, well, at least 150, 170 years. It's so important. 150 years, the road to prosperity. Now, of course, yeah, always more prosperity also means the problems with the environment. So a new era is definitely coming. We are no longer looking for more and more and more and more and buy and consume. Yeah, it's difficult now to do that because, yeah, there is a limit to what the planet can support. But how to divide things is also very complicated because, yeah, things change all the time. And if you want a perfect world, well, believing that there are universal principles makes it easy to divide everything in a perfect way. But if everything changes all the time, um, well, whatever you explain, you will need to understand that you need empathy and that you need respect and tolerance for the vision of other persons, and that you need to find a consensus. So, yeah, that is, in my opinion, a challenge for society. Anyway, what I'm interested in now, I visit neighborhoods, all the neighborhoods, well, at least 10, 20 kilometers around Antwerp. I start to know every little road on the countryside and what housing is there, how old it is, which sound of which highway you can hear where. I really want to find out all these things, and then I will see which real estate to buy. Because, yeah, there is also an evolution in real estate. I remember, well, I know a building, it's not of my family, but of a neighbor. And so in the 60s, she constructed, not in the city center, but a little bit outside, huge apartment buildings on a busy road with 2 bathroom and 3 bedroom, huge living, even a TV room, and yeah, so huge apartments. And they have never been renovated. Well, she had a collection of 18 or something of them. And so, but it was not, well, it's not my neighbor of, well, it's nobody, I don't know the person personally, and he never lived next to me, so that's okay. But I think it was the wrong investment decision. In the 60s, if you built that kind of apartment, well, it was maybe good to find tenants then for that. But later, I think it became, yeah, well, at the moment they are unrenovated. And yeah, so, well, there is a market for everything. Eh? And in real estate, you need to see that often on long periods of time. The father of my grandfather, well, he really, he talked to people, and well, he found out new trends. He even saw people going to the Mediterranean Sea. He saw people wanting something on the countryside. So that going to nature, he saw all these trends, and adapted his investment strategy towards what was really, yeah, um, the future. So, but yeah, that aside, well, it's again 15 minutes. I will post this. Can't make one extra. I think the sun is going away. But it was nice here on our farm. Well, I pay €1 a day, something a little bit more. Um, and well, I enjoy the membership, and I will take some carrots and some other vegetables and make it for my dinner